With just over a month until citizens head to the polls, today the EFF is joining those political parties which have already launched their manifestos. The Red Berets are hosting their event at Gandhi Square in Johannesburg this morning and say they won't limit the number of members attending. This is despite the country remaining on lockdown level 2, which limits outdoor gatherings to 500 people. Our senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo is in downtown Johannesburg this morning. Ziyanda, good morning. Good to speak to you. No limits, obviously, is the message that the EFF is sending out. What else can we expect this morning?
A very good morning to you, Hugo. Well, we're expecting that in the next hour, the EFF will begin its official program to launch its manifesto. You'll see to my left that some supporters have already begun making their way here this morning, Hugo, where they, of course, will be listening to how the EFF plans to deliver on their aspirations and the promises that they may have made before. Hugo, this election is very critical, especially when it comes to actually dealing with local issues. So this gets to the heart of the communities. Local government elections also are a way in which political parties are able to measure the temperature of the electorate. We know that previously, especially during the 2016 elections, that voters used the 2016 local government elections as a way to punish parties for what were issues that were taking place at a national level. But to talk more about the EFF's plans, I'm joined now by National Chair Veronica Mente. Very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on Newzroom Afrika. I mean, today is a significant moment given the fact that this is the first time as a party you launch a manifesto under COVID-19 regulations after having not been able to fully go out onto the streets and engage the electorate.
Thank you very much for having us. Yes, indeed. The pandemic has had a huge impact in terms of campaign, in terms of the life of the party itself, and in terms of politics in general. And you'd understand that we've been under lockdown, and the lockdown has been restricting all of us. And us as the EFF, we felt like since now the elections are declared. Once you declare the elections, then you systematically and obviously take out science. And the science of the VD day and the voting day at the VD station, where thousands and thousands of people are going to be gathered, should be informed by gatherings of this nature, where we have to inform people of what are we offering, what do we have on the table, what are we committing to as the EFF, since today we are calling the people to come and listen to the commitments of the EFF.
You know, one of the things that came out during as the statistics, I should say, after the voter registration drive, were that actually the youth had not actually come out to register to vote. How are you going to attract in young people to come out on the day of voting now to ensure that they also make their voices heard?
Well, in the EFF, you'd understand that majority of our members is young people. However, in addition to that, we have now established a desk, a youth desk, and a high school and a higher education desk, where the focus is mainly at higher education institutions, where youth is found, and anywhere, at all the spaces where we can find young people. So we have been speaking to young people, we have been telling them to go and register to vote, and indeed it yielded so much results that many young people, all institutions of higher learning, were welcoming to the EFF or the EFF SC. You would understand that we have the Student Command. The Student Command was also driving the very same campaign, and young people have actually responded quite well.
But there's also the issue of voter apathy in general, not just the youth, but in general. What can we expect to hear from this manifesto to deal with those issues, but also with changing the lives of those who you want to vote for you, especially because local government is the coal face of service delivery. That's where a political party actually gets to show its strength.
Now, our people, you'd understand that the EFF is the third biggest party in South Africa, and we are the third biggest party in parliament. Our people have been testing the ground, and our people by now have seen what the 27 years of the current governing party has offered them. They have seen the dire state that the country is in. They have seen everything else, the corruption, the dilapidated departments, buildings, the public works that cannot cope and build even a simple clinic. And therefore, I think our people now are ready to give their vote to a new party that is going to deliver. And in the EFF, we make those commitments. You understand, we are founded under the 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars. And in those cardinal pillars, we are very clear in terms of what we are committing to deliver and what are we based as a political party. So our manifesto is exactly that, and our manifesto is also informed by the consultative process that we have embarked on across the country, meeting different entities, meeting different sectors, and meeting different people, of which different people have raised their concerns, suggestions, and actually emphasize on the type of government that they require, and our manifesto is in response of such engagements. And we're hoping that our people, and we're sure that our people by now, they have seen the suffering, they have seen the dire state of the country, they have suffered already, they've been through everything. You have seen how Soweto is today, they don't even have electricity, and we have seen how the rail lines have collapsed. We have seen how hospitals have been in the dire state where they could not even cope during the pandemic. So our people now are ready for change, are ready for a government who is going to deliver for them.
So you won't be a kingmaker, I suppose?
No. This time around, we're going for a kill.
All right. So thank you very much. That's National Chair Veronica Mente. She says, well, the EFF will not be the kingmakers this year. They will actually be the kings, and they will not be having to be in coalition with other political parties. But of course, we'll only know after the 1st of November, Hugo.
Ziyanda, great. Interestingly, that Veronica Mente mentioned there that the level of engagement with young people in particular has been very high on the agenda.
And as you would have heard her, Hugo, she was saying that they've established various bodies to actually deal with engaging with young people, the Student Command, higher education institutions, being able to actually garner those young people to vote. You will know that part of the statistics that came out from the Electoral Commission is that young people were not so interested in actually registering to vote.
Ziyanda Ngcobo, our senior politics reporter, out at Gandhi Square in Johannesburg, where the EFF will launch its manifesto later this morning.